Good Day Chicago at 5 starts now.
Friends, family, and some key figures will come together this morning to pay tribute to the late civil rights icon, Reverend Jackson.
The Bears make a big move and trade away one of their key players just before free agency begins.
And it's quiet out there right now, but we could have some severe storms come through the Chicago area today. So we say good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome to Good Day Chicago. I'm here bright and early today. It's good to be with you, though, Gabby.
Thank you, Anthony, for joining us.
Yes.
On this Friday. It's finally here, people.
Michael
Enjoy
Kaplan, always here, always on standby, always got his eye on the weather. How are we doing outside? It was foggy when I came in.
Well, I have to correct you on something. You said bright and early. It's dark and early.
Dark and early.
It is dark and early.
But you're right. He's new to the 5,
Yeah,
Mike.
you're right about that fog. We have a dense fog advisory in effect until 10 o'clock this morning. That's just one of many concerns today. It's a shame because it's going to get so warm later today, but it may be tough to enjoy it. 43 now at O'Hare. It's foggy. That humidity is very high, and we've trapped low-level moisture close to the ground, creating a cloud there. That's what fog is. 50 at Joliet, but only 38 Waukegan, 45 at Gary, 51 degrees at Valparaiso. There's that dense fog advisory, all of Chicagoland until 10 o'clock. The fog will last longest very close to the lake. Here are the visibility numbers. Most of Chicagoland now with a quarter-mile visibility or less. If you're flying again this morning, just like yesterday, maybe give a call ahead to find out if there may be some delays. We'll give you a look at the storms on the way. One more thing to worry about in just a little bit. But right now, let's get an update on the commute. Gabriella?
Thank you, Mike. And we encourage people, of course, to be careful even this morning with that fog that's hanging around Chicagoland. Right now, your drive's looking okay. About a half hour ago, we did have a car fire on the outbound side of the Eisenhower past 25th. Now it looks like everything's over on the right shoulder. You might see them still cleaning up debris right now. But for your drive into the city, 30 minutes on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown. We're going to call 22 on the Eisenhower from Route 390 to the old post office. 20 minutes on the Stevenson, under 20 minutes on the Dan Ryan, and we're not seeing any train trouble as of right now. 5:03. All right, today Chicago remembers a hometown legend who changed the lives of so many people across the country.
Reverend Jackson will be celebrated today for his long and brave fight for civil rights. Saquon is live right outside House of Hope with more on today's services. Say good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. Yeah, like you mentioned, we're just outside of House of Hope right now. As you can see, we're just outside of Gate 4. This is where the public is expected to walk in through, and also maybe some notable members as well. Think about your local politicians. They're all expected to walk in through these doors here today. I will say, just to give you some perspective as to what we've seen this morning, it's obviously very early. The celebration of life doesn't get started until later this morning, but we have seen Secret Service walking around, and we've talked about this, right? With events like this, that's expected to draw thousands and thousands of people. This is going to be a highly and heavily secured event. We saw Secret Service walking around, kind of sniffing the cars, walking around with their dogs. So safe to say that Secret Service is here. Everyone is ready to go for a big day today. This morning, we are also getting our first look at the schedule and the list of services for today. The Reverend Celebration of Life all starts at 11 o'clock this morning with a musical prelude. From there, and after the call to order, Dr. Michael Flagler will kick things off with a prayer, followed by additional remarks. Yusuf Jackson will open the service today, and after that, we are expecting to hear many remarks from family members to politicians, including Governor J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson, as well as former presidents Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and former Vice President Kamala Harris. Guys, coming up in the next hour, I'm actually going to be taking you out to Bronzeville, specifically 47th Street, to learn a little bit more about the impact the Reverend had on Chicago's South Side. Back to you guys.
All right, Say, thank you for that report, and we look forward to that next story you'll be sharing with us. Let's go back to overseas. Israeli launches more airstrikes on the capital of Iran and Lebanon as the war in the Middle East now continues. Israeli forces say the strikes have already destroyed most of Iran's air defenses and missile launchers. The U.S. military also says it struck an Iranian drone carrier at sea. Meanwhile, Iran fired missiles and drones into Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain. As of now, there's no reports of any casualties from Iran's latest attack. And here at home, 6 different businesses were hit in a string of overnight burglaries across several neighborhoods on the south and southwest side. Police say it all happened in just a couple of hours, and thieves got away with thousands of dollars. One of those businesses is Angelo's Stuffed Pizza. They have been a staple for more than 30 years in that neighborhood. The owner says the thieves smashed the front doors, made their way in, and took thousands of dollars.
took our registers. They took some cameras that we use for our photos for our social media, laptops. They were able to get downstairs into the office, broke some doors, and took some money from the safe there. So we had our rent money downstairs, so they took our rent money, close to $5,000 altogether, like $5,500 somewhere under. As you can see, there's damage to our property, our tables, our tile. The video surveillance shows that they were just throwing things and, running around, jumping over counters.
No arrests have been made. Police are looking for a black Infiniti sedan that was used as a getaway car.
Joliet City Hall was packed for a public hearing about a data center that is coming to the community. Residents were invited to give their opinions during the meeting. They are concerned about data centers' impact on the economy and the environment. The proposed data center would go on 795 acres of farmland, which sits on the east side of Joliet. There would be thousands of construction jobs created, and the center will pay property taxes. Joliet residents, though, still want to know how it would impact their household costs.
Joliet has a generational opportunity in front of it to attract a major long-term investment that can create jobs, strengthen the tax base, and signal that Joliet is open for responsible growth.
These are mega rich people. They're not here doing charitable acts for us. They're not coming from Virginia. They're not coming from Texas because they love Joliet. I'm here because I love Joliet, and I don't want our utility bills to go up.
The council will vote whether to annex the farmland to Joliet, which would be the first step toward possibly approving this project.
The CTA has 2 weeks to submit a new safety plan to the Federal Transit Administration or risk losing $50 million in funding. The government agency says the CTA's current safety plan is just not enough to enhance safety for CTA riders. Fox Chicago has reported some high-profile incidents on the CTA in the past few months. This includes 2 major incidents on the Blue Line. Remember where one woman was lit on fire and another was stabbed to death. We spoke with the group Violence Interrupters, who have been riding the CTA for months. They say they've de-escalated plenty of incidents that could have turned violent.
People that understand the population of individuals that board the trains. That's most important. You got to have people on them trains that know how it looks. You know how it looks when a person is about to commit an act of violence. So my thing is, once you get the right individuals on the train that know how to communicate and network with that population, you'll be okay.
The CTA has until March 19th to submit a revised security plan.
Some residents living by the Obama Center in Woodlawn are either dealing with higher rents or forced to move out, they say. Over at Cheney Briggs Apartments, this is near 65th and Stony, families formed a union to push back. They are facing a buyer from California who is either looking to tear down the building or gut it, which could mean higher rent for everybody. Some tenants were offered $2,000 to leave, even after years and years of living in that building. Neighbors and local leaders are asking the city to keep housing affordable.
I want to stay right where I'm at. I don't want to be forced out. I don't want to be told I have to leave. I want to be able to stay. I want to be able to let my daughter stay here, and then I want her to grow up in the same building I grew up in.
Residents say the building was once owned by a nonprofit focused on community stability and making sure that families had affordable housing. All right, the Chicago Bears, more roster moves made yesterday, and one of them being a trade between the Bears and the Bills.
Mike Kaplan has a sports hat on. Mike, you said not many people are mad about this trade.
I mean, there's some. Look, he had a great contribution. The playoffs, great catch against the Packers. But I think that it's a good move. It's never easy saying goodbye, especially to a player who has done a lot for the Bears. But the team needed cap space, translation money, so they felt it was right to trade DJ Moore, number 2, to the Buffalo Bills. According to multiple reports, the Bears are going to get a 2026 second-round pick, while the Bills are going to get Moore and a 2026 fifth-round pick. Just a couple of years ago, Moore signed that massive 4-year, $110 million extension with the Bears. The extension was set to begin during the upcoming season. However, his $28.5 million cap hit for this upcoming season, it was just too much. And the Bears have got so many needs now, especially with Drew Dahlman going. They need to free up some space. So the Bears free up $16.5 million by trading DJ Moore. Now, that was not the only move they made yesterday. More reports say the Bears are releasing linebacker Tremaine Edmunds. This comes after, as you may recall, the team reportedly gave him permission to seek a trade. Since they were unable to find a worthy trade partner, they have decided to cut him, and that is a savings of $15 million. So we're going to have to see if the Bears make any more moves before free agency starts next week. The Bulls, they're winning. Yeah, 1 in a row against the Suns. Fourth quarter, Bulls up by 9. Yuki Kawamura feeds Leonard Miller for the powerful finish. Bulls up by 11. But less than 30 seconds ago, the Suns cut that deficit down to 4. Devin Booker buries the triple. Suns now down by only 1. Just a few seconds left in the game. Bulls with a 2-point lead. Nick Richards misses that freebie, but Trey Jones grabs the ball, throws it 400 feet straight in the air as time expires. So the Bulls hang on to win a close one, 105-103. On the sports docket today, the Blackhawks, they are back home. They will be hosting one of the worst teams in the NHL, the Vancouver Canucks. Puck's going to drop at 7:30. And the baseball. Team USA taking on Brazil in the World Baseball Classic. That is a game you can see right here on Fox Chicago. The first pitch is at 7 p.m. All right, we got a lot going on weather-wise. That is the roof of our building, where, again, I remind people that our satellites are in constant connection with the planet Zeptar, where we're getting a lot of our information this morning. At the bus stop, kids are going to need a foghorn. They're going to need an umbrella, a raincoat. Then on the ride home, it's going to be close to 70 degrees. It's a crazy day on the way. Fog and some drizzle at 7. Could be scattered storms in parts of the area at noon. And still a chance of thunderstorms around 3 o'clock. Most of us will have highs in the upper 60s. But the farther south you are, that's where you're going to have 70s. Far north will be more like, I think, low 60s. Look at Waukegan, only 38, but it's 49 in Kankakee, 51 at LaSalle, and also 51 degrees in Valparaiso. Dense fog advisory, all of Chicagoland until 10. That fog may linger a little bit longer right against the lakeshore here, just as it did yesterday. There's the risk of severe thunderstorms. The highest risk today, central and southern plains, but in the Chicago area, there's a chance of some stronger storms, damaging straight-line winds and hail, the primary hazards. And the farther west you are, perhaps the more likely you'd get in on that with a level 2 slight risk. Places like Lake McHenry, Kane County, most of Cook County, Will County, Northwest Indiana, it's a level 1 or lower threat. Timing, well, we're going to get a few rounds of showers and storms, the first of which may get in here later this morning, and then some additional activity during the afternoon, and we're not done yet. Late tonight could be another line of showers and thunderstorms crossing the area into tomorrow morning. Anthony, Gabby?
Okay, thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it, sir. Coming up for us on Good Day Chicago, we continue our coverage on the war going on in the Middle East.
The latest we're hearing out of Washington, D.C. when we return. Tired.
.com/quality.
Welcome back. With this conflict in Iran now entering day 7, the White House says the mission's success, they call it undeniable.
So according to U.S. Central Command, U.S. forces have hit more than 2,000 targets inside Iran. Rebecca Castor joins us from Washington, D.C. Rebecca, our first question for you. Where do U.S. operations, where do they currently stand in the Middle East?
Hi, Gabby. Well, the Pentagon wants Americans to know that the U.S. is winning the war. You mentioned that U.S. forces have hit over 2,000 targets inside Iran. They've also sunk 30 of Iran's Navy ships, and they're destroying Iran's ability to respond. Since Saturday, Iran's retaliatory ballistic missile strikes are down 90%, so their options are almost gone. But Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth says the U.S. is not pulling back yet. He actually says more firepower is still going to the region, and that we're going to see an even stronger response than the action we've already seen.
Rebecca, I understand President Trump made some remarks about Iran picking its new leader after the Ayatollah was taken out in that initial strike. Is that right?
Yes, Anthony. President Trump says the remaining members of the regime keep calling him to make a deal. He says he's not ready to talk yet. He wants the fighting to continue for now, and he wants the U.S. to achieve its goals of destroying Iran's nuclear and ballistic assets. But President Trump did tell Axios he needs to be involved in choosing Iran's new leader. He says if not, it's just a waste of time.
You know, we found out that a war powers vote also failed in the House. What are some other avenues that lawmakers could use to maybe restrict the operation?
Yeah, well, lawmakers, and we're mostly talking about Democrats here, could do that by refusing to pass a supplemental funding package if the Pentagon asks for more money to fund the war. Right now, Secretary Hegseth says he's got a large stockpile of weapons to use, and Congress did already ramp up defense spending significantly last year. But Trump is meeting with defense contractors at the White House today to discuss boosting weapons productions. So that's certainly a sign that U.S. officials want to be prepared for what comes next, and they'll likely need Congress on board to fund it.
All right, Rebecca Castor, live from the U.S. Capitol. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. And going to some news, big news from D.C. President Donald Trump fires Kristi Noem as Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. This comes following reports he was furious over her testimony on Capitol Hill. She's been getting grilled over her management of Homeland Security and immigration enforcement around the country. This includes 2 separate incidents in Minnesota that left 2 people dead. The tipping point stems from her recent testimony claiming President Trump approved a $220 million ad campaign for DHS. The president, however, says he did not authorize it and says he didn't know about the ads. She delivered some remarks in Nashville, Tennessee, where she praised law enforcement and public safety efforts in major cities.
The sacred duty of our government truly is that people are entrusted to secure the rights also of all the American people. You know, the Declaration of Independence states that governments derive their powers from the consent of the governed, which is the people. The people give us the right to do our jobs each and every day. And as long as this world is fractured and as long as human nature is fallen, we will need brave men and women who step up and serve and enforce our rights and our laws and our values.
So who's taking over her job? Well, it's said to be Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin, who was nominated by President Trump. He's considered to be one of his closest allies on Capitol Hill. He served years in the House before being elected to the Senate in 2022. The change takes effect at the end of the month.
Plenty of Democrats have been speaking out about Noem losing that role, including Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who said while Noem might be gone from office, he says she will still be held accountable for her actions, especially here in Illinois.
Hey, Kristi Noem, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Here's your legacy: corruption and chaos, parents and children tear-gassed, moms and nurses, U.S. citizens getting shot in the face. Now that you're gone, don't think you get to just walk away. I guarantee you, you will still be held accountable.
Illinois Democratic U.S. Senator Dick Durbin posted to social media about the news as well, saying our country expressed outrage. She repeatedly lied before Congress, and even the president finally conceded she was unfit for the job.
521, Mike Kaplan standing by with a look at our weather. A lot of action going on this Friday.
Yeah, and even into tomorrow morning, there'll be a few showers and thunderstorms around. And it's kind of a shame. We have likely the warmest weather of the year so far on the way, and it may be difficult to enjoy it. We start with fog. Now, here's the deal. There's a storm system right there. It's got a warm front. So first we get the warm front, and sometimes with a warm front that sparks showers and thunderstorms. That's area 1 of concern, and that will likely be this morning. Then south of that warm front, as we warm up, the air might be a little bit unstable. That could lead to a few scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. Some of those could be strong. And then the third wave of showers and thunderstorms tied to that cold front, that's coming through overnight into early tomorrow morning. Some of those storms could be gusty as well. Warmest part of the day tomorrow will be ahead of that cold front when we'll be in the 60s. Temperatures will be falling during the day tomorrow, but at least skies will be clearing. And Sunday looks like a spectacular day here with plenty of sunshine and high temperatures well above 50 and probably right around 60. Today, 68 for the official high. If we can hit 70 at O'Hare, it'll tie the record. But you got fog in the morning, thunderstorms at times, and that'll continue tonight. Some of those could be on the strong side, so be weather ready. 7-day forecast, beautiful Sunday and Monday. Then we get a few more showers here as cooler air arrives as we head in the middle and end of next week. 5:23, we'll be right back after this. HBC.
Message.
Welcome back. Chicago's 3 largest animal welfare groups have come together to announce new programs and also support the mayor's latest appointment for Chicago's Animal Care and Control Director, Susan Capello, who did attend that news conference. She was joined by Paw Chicago, Anti-Cruelty, and Treehouse. Now, before her appointment, Capello had spent 3 years as acting director before getting the permanent job back on February 12th. However, several aldermen have signed a letter demanding that the mayor launch a national search for a replacement instead of giving her the role And those aldermen had claimed high euthanasia rates and bad shelter conditions, that neglect and endangered dogs, cats, and volunteers were all in place under her leadership. But the organizations who attended yesterday, they backed Capello, saying that those aldermen have no idea what they're talking about. They believe the new programs under Capello's leadership will continue to bring down euthanasia rates here in Chicago.
History was made at Columbia College as the school installs its first black woman president. Dr. Shante Bolton is also the first woman to lead the school in nearly 90 years. She was appointed back in July, but she was formally installed on Thursday. Dr. Bolton has held executive roles at several other schools, including Georgia Tech, Washington University in St. Louis, and Tulane University as well. Congratulations to her.
Indeed, congrats. Okay, let's send it over to Mike Kaplan to figure out a little bit about this Friday fog.
We've got it all. We could threaten a record high later this afternoon.
We really do.
We got thunderstorms on the way. I mean, it's all on the table here. Let's take a look at the radar because thunderstorms are now marching toward the area from the west. So far, no warnings with that, but these thunderstorms do have heavy rainfall, and I've got the lightning turned on, and currently maybe north of the Quad Cities toward the Galena area, that's where the showers and thunderstorms are ongoing. This is still a few hours away from getting in here. So currently our main worry is not with thunderstorms, it is with that dense fog, and there's a dense fog advisory in effect for all of Chicagoland until 10 o'clock this morning. Visibilities are low. Let's take a look at some of the numbers here at O'Hare. An eighth of a mile, 3/4 of a mile at Midway, quarter mile at Gary and Waukegan, pretty much everywhere, 1 mile visibility or less. So today, here's what you got. Fog in the morning, then some thunderstorms are coming through here in a few hours. Maybe another isolated thunderstorm in the afternoon, becoming much warmer. I'll go 68 for the official high today, but there's going to be a spread here from mid-70s south to low 60s far north. And thunderstorms tonight will likely continue into early tomorrow morning as well. It is a busy period here for the next 24 hours or so. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Mike. Stick around. We have more news, weather, and traffic coming up on Good Day.
to clean it up.
Right now in Good Day Chicago, friends, family, and some major political figures are all going to come together this morning to pay tribute to the late civil rights icon, Reverend Jesse Jackson.
The deadline for the CTA to submit a new safety plan is approaching.
And the Bears send DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills. The Bears, in return, they will get a 2026 second-round pick, while the Bills will receive not only Moore, but a fifth-rounder. This will help clear up more than $16 million in salary cap space as the Bears get ready for free agency to start. Mike?
All right, we have fog out there now. We have thunderstorms on the way later, and we have a shot at a record high as well. Wild weather on this Friday. I'll try and lay it all out for you here in a little bit, but right now Gabrielle is going to let you know if there are any delays early this morning.
Mike, luckily we're seeing things moving pretty smooth around here. All of our trains are looking okay. I'm taking a check at that, looking at some traffic cameras. Of course, we have that fog that's hanging around, so be careful. But your drive times, they look pretty accurate. About 35 minutes on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown. I'm going to call it 30 minutes if you're headed back to O'Hare. 25 minutes on the Eisenhower, 20 minutes on the Stevenson, under 20 minutes for inbound trip on the Dan Ryan from 95th to the Byrne interchange. All right, as we gear up for the homegoing service for Reverend Jesse Jackson, we wanted to highlight a specific community that saw firsthand the impact that he had.
Yeah, Saquon joins us live outside of House of Hope. That's where everyone's coming together a little later this morning with a preview for us. Say.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Yeah, as you mentioned, Anthony, we are just outside of House of Hope right now, waiting for the doors to open up for Reverend Jackson's homegoing services today. But guys, I mean, since the news of his passing, we have heard from family members and close friends who say that continuing his legacy is truly the best way to honor him moving forward. So this morning, I wanted to take you on a trip down memory lane, specifically to 47th Street on Chicago's South Side, as we reflect on the work and the impact of some of Chicago's giants and learn how that legacy will live on in a neighborhood particularly influenced by Reverend Jackson.
You know, there's been a lot of folks come through this restaurant, right? A lot of residents, a lot of politicians, a lot of educators, you know, people who we call giants in community.
One of those giants, the Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson Sr. The Reverend visited Peaches on 47th often in the heart of Bronzeville, a neighborhood once dubbed the Black Metropolis after it became a hub for African-American culture, business, and politics during the Great Migration.
47th Street used to be the space that you could come and you'd sit on the corner, you'd see any and everybody, right? From educators to jazz musicians, you know, athletes. And when you think about businesses, you know, John Johnson having this building down the street, what Mr. Higginbottom has done for black folks, in particular, you know, black men, in terms of supporting them in business. I mean, the list goes on.
Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. also played a big role in serving Chicago's South Side by pushing major corporations to increase black representation, fighting for minority-owned business contracts, and supporting youth education.
And one of my mentors, Mr. Elsie Higginbottom, you know, he used to tell me, you know, giving back is part of the fabric of what we do, right? And so he actually had me go over one year and help over at Operation Push. And I mean, that's been over a decade ago.
Chef Cliff Rome, the owner and founder of Peaches on 47th, reflected on his time and memories with some of Chicago's most iconic giants.
I actually sat and listened to him, Reverend Jackson, and Dr. Timmy Black tell stories. So when you think about the history between those two, let alone what they've seen, what they've done over decades.
In 1996, Reverend Jackson made even bigger waves in Bronzeville and the city's South Side through his Rainbow Push Coalition, advocating for voter registration and advancing equal education. And the impact he had on the city's South Side did not go unnoticed.
When Reverend Jackson walked into a room, people would stop, right? First of all, his stature, right? But then the history of who he is and who he's become over the years, everyone stops. Everyone wants to, you know, touch him. Everyone wants to talk to him.
And for many on Chicago's South Side, Reverend Jackson's legacy isn't just history. It's a call to keep hope alive.
Part of the challenge and part of the work is to be able to take legacy and break it down in bite-sized pieces, and so we could distribute it for this generation that doesn't necessarily get the storytelling.
Well, today, many of those giants will be walking through the doors here at House of Hope for the Reverend's homegoing services. All of those services set to start at 11 o'clock this morning. Guys.
Say, what a great piece. Thank you for sharing that. We'll catch up with you again. Let's head back to what's happening overseas. Israel launches more airstrikes on the capitals of Iran and Lebanon as the war in the Middle East continues. Israeli forces say the strikes have already destroyed most of Iran's air defenses and missile launchers. The U.S. military also says it struck an Iranian drone carrier at sea. Meanwhile, Iran fired missiles and drones into Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain. As of now, there's no reports of any casualties from Iran's latest attack. And here at home, 6 different businesses were hit in a string of overnight burglaries across several neighborhoods on the south and southwest side. Police say it all happened in just a couple of hours and thieves got away with thousands. One of those businesses is Angelo's Stuffed Pizza. This is in Archer Heights. They have been a staple for more than 30 years now. The owner says the thieves smashed the front doors, made their way in, and took thousands of dollars.
Took our registers. They took some cameras that we use for our photos for our social media, laptops. They were able to get downstairs into the office, broke some doors, and took some money from the safe there. So we had our rent money downstairs, so they took our rent money, close to $5,000 altogether, like $5,500 more under. As you can see, there's damage to our property, our tables, our tile. The video surveillance shows that they were just throwing things and, running around, jumping over counters.
No arrests have been made. Police are looking for a black Infiniti sedan that was used as a getaway car.
Joliet City Hall was packed for a public hearing about the possibility of a data center coming to that community. Residents were invited to give their opinions during the meeting, and many are concerned about that center's potential impact on the economy, impact on the environment, impacted on their own costs. The proposed data center would be built on 795 acres of farmland on the east side of Joliet. There would be thousands of construction jobs created, and the center would pay property taxes. But Joliet residents still want to know how it would impact their household costs.
Joliet has a generational opportunity in front of it to attract a major long-term investment that can create jobs, strengthen the tax base, and signal that Joliet is open for responsible growth.
These are mega rich people. They're not here doing charitable acts for us. They're not coming from Virginia. They're not coming from Texas because they love Joliet. I'm here because I love Joliet, and I don't want our utility bills to go up.
The council will vote whether to annex the farmland to Joliet. That would be the first step toward possibly approving that project.
The CTA has 2 weeks to submit a new safety plan to the Federal Transit Administration or risk losing $50 million in funding. The government agency says the CTA's current safety plan is not enough to enhance safety for CTA riders. Fox Chicago has reported some high-profile incidents on the CTA in the past few months. This includes 2 major incidents on the Blue Line alone, where one woman was lit on fire and another was stabbed to death. We spoke with the group Violence Interrupters, who have been riding the CTA for months. They say they've de-escalated plenty of incidents that could have turned violent.
Need people that understand the population of individuals that board the trains. That's most important. You got to have people on them trains that know how it looks. Know how it looks when a person is about to commit an act of violence. So my thing is, once you get the right individuals on the train that know how to communicate and network with that population, you'll be okay.
The CTA has until March 19th to submit a revised security plan.
There was a group of tenants living right by the Obama Center at Woodlawn that say they are either dealing with much higher rents or being forced to move out. At Channy Bragg's Apartments, that's right near the corner of 65th and Stony Island, families formed a union to push back. They're facing a buyer from California, they say, who's looking to gut the building or tear it down entirely, which could mean higher rent for everyone. Some tenants were already offered $2,000 to leave, even after years in that building, growing up in that building, really. Neighbors and local leaders are asking the city to keep housing affordable.
I want to stay right where I'm at. I don't want to be forced out. I don't want to be told I have to leave. I want to be able to stay. I want to be able to let my daughter stay here, and then I want her to grow up in the same building I grew up in.
Residents say the building was once owned by a nonprofit that was focused on community stability and making sure that families had affordable housing.
Mike, it's 5:41. Excuse me, I was looking at
Getting
the
ahead of
seconds
yourself.
there. I wanted to be the 50
Living 10
mark
minutes
already.
in the future.
What's
Oh, my
that shot there
goodness.
from outer space?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Zeptar, is that our Zeptar cam?
That could be Planet
Beautiful
Zeptar there.
scene we're
Well,
looking at.
That is still kind of a cool shot, though. You can see
you
the
can see
top
the
of the
building.
fog layer.
Yeah.
So this is one of these deals where those clouds, that fog layer, only a few hundred feet thick, but it has been prevalent now for days. And we're still dealing with this darn thing. Dense fog advisory until 10 o'clock this morning. 43 at O'Hare, and it's foggy. East winds blowing at only 3 miles an hour. Relative humidity, you got it. It's high, and all that moisture is trapped close to the ground in the form of a cloud. 51 at Joliet, but only 38 at Waukegan, 42 at the lakefront. It will end up being cooler later today, but still way warmer than normal across the northern tier of counties and close to the lake. Dense fog advisory, all of Chicagoland till 10 o'clock. And what will help get rid of the fog? Thunderstorms that are on the way. These are the visibility numbers: quarter mile at O'Hare, half mile at Midway and Joliet, Waukegan down to a quarter mile, and northwest Indiana, not as bad at Valparaiso and Michigan City, but in Lake County, Indiana, it is worse. Gary with only a quarter mile visibility. All right, here's round one. Showers and thunderstorms approaching from the west right now, still hours away from getting into Chicagoland, but be ready for some wet weather, I think especially city and north here later this morning. Now, our model kind of clobbers the area around 10 o'clock here with heavy thunderstorms, drenching rainfall, and then some additional activity during the afternoon, couple quiet hours as we get temperatures close to 70, and then additional showers and thunderstorms late at night, overnight into tomorrow morning, before everything settles down here tomorrow afternoon. The second half of the weekend definitely looks a lot more quiet than the first part of the weekend. I'll share the 7-day forecast with you here in just a couple of minutes. We'll be right back.
32 and Fox Local.
President Donald Trump fires Kristi Noem as Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. This comes following reports he was furious over her recent testimony on Capitol Hill. She's been getting grilled over her management of Homeland Security and immigration enforcement around the country. This includes 2 separate incidents in Minnesota that left 2 people dead. The tipping point stems from her recent testimony claiming President Trump approved a $220 million ad campaign for DHS. But the president, however, says he did not authorize it and says he didn't know about the ads. She delivered some remarks in Nashville, Tennessee, where she praised law enforcement and public safety efforts in major cities.
The sacred duty of our government truly is that people are entrusted to secure the rights also of all the American people. You know, the Declaration of Independence states that governments derive their powers from the consent of the governed, which is the people. The people give us the right to do our jobs each and every day. And as long as this world is fractured and as long as human nature is fallen, we will need brave men and women who step up and serve and enforce our rights and our laws and our values.
Taking over her job is Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, who was nominated by President Trump. He's considered to be one of his closest allies on Capitol Hill. He served years in the House before being elected to the Senate in 2022. The change takes effect at the end of the month.
Plenty of Democrats have been speaking out about Noem losing that role, including Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who said while Noem might be gone from office, that she will still be held accountable for her actions, especially in his state.
Hey, Kristi Noem, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Here's your legacy: corruption and chaos, parents and children tear-gassed, moms and nurses, U.S. citizens getting shot in the face. Now that you're gone, don't think you get to just walk away. I guarantee you, you will still be held accountable.
And Illinois Democratic U.S. Senator Dick Durbin posting to social media about the news as well, saying our country expressed outrage. She repeatedly lied before Congress, and even the president finally conceded she was unfit for the job. All right, let's send it over to Mike Kaplan, 549 here, and not much of a view from that angle either.
Oh, I like that, though. This is a Willis cam, and we can see the tops of some of the buildings there. That is neat. It almost looks like a model or something there with
Doesn't it?
Yeah, like, you know, some cotton that's been thrown down there. That is real. I'm digging that shot, you guys.
Cool.
That is so cool. All right, not so fun to be in that fog, however, because visibility is low. Going to maybe cause some delays on roadways and airways. So we have fog to start. We have thunderstorms on the way. Some of those could be gusty, maybe even some small hail in those. And eventually, we got a big warm-up on the way, but there's going to be a big temperature spread south, mid-70s. North and near the lake, probably low 60s there. But watch out for those thunderstorms, likely to come in several different waves, including some activity late tonight. The risk of severe weather is not zero. I just think it's low. 58 degrees for the low tonight, unseasonably mild. Tomorrow's high will be kind of whatever the temperature is during the wee hours of the morning. 64, I'll go. Daylight saving time begins tomorrow night, so you'll set the clocks ahead 1 hour when you go to bed. 60, beautiful day on Sunday. Monday, even warmer. And then we see a temperature downturn along with a few showers here Tuesday and Wednesday. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Mike. Coming up, a local college makes history after installing its new school president.
Yes, indeed. We're going to have details on this announcement when we come back.
Welcome back. History was made at Columbia College as the school installs its first black woman president. Dr. Shante Bolton is also the first woman to lead the school in nearly 90 years. She was appointed back in July, but she was formally installed on Thursday. Dr. Bolton has held executive roles at several other schools, including Georgia Tech, Washington University in St. Louis, and Tulane University.
All right, when you think of beautiful college campuses, does Aurora come to mind? Probably not, but it was just ranked the third most beautiful college campus in the country. The list of 30 schools was put together by U.S. News and World Report. So put it on your radar. Aurora University was the only college in Illinois to make the list here, and it was highlighted for its historic architecture, landmark buildings with red tile roofs, the Spanish tile up there, and tree-lined entrance walkways.
To be recognized among this 30 institutions, it's really incredibly meaningful. We consider ourselves to be a bit of a hidden gem, so this certainly raises our visibility, and we hope that people will appreciate it, and maybe if they haven't been to campus, it might take the time to come and visit us.
Indeed, look at that. Okay, Aurora University, founded back in 1893 and serves more than 6,000 students. It certainly does look beautiful, Mike Kaplan. I have not myself been out there before.
That's what we're saying. We've driven by, or at least I have, and yeah, sure, it looks great, but seeing some of those photos, I'm going to have to walk around campus.
I'm looking at the rest of the list right now, or like perusing the list.
Yeah.
St. Olaf is on there.
Oh, yeah, that's in Minnesota.
Minnesota, I think, yes.
That's a beautiful, yeah, Aurora, yeah, that's... Baylor's on here, Denison, you know, there's some...
this is U.S. News and World Report,
yeah,
right?
Pepperdine's on there, the Malibu campus. So they're in some really good
tough competition there.
Interesting.
Speaking of, Duke is on there.
I was going to say, is this like a smaller campus?
Well, I was thinking too, but then Duke is
on
on there. So this is, I mean, it's a pretty...
Duke is a
UVA is on there. Have you ever been to UVA?
Yes, gorgeous there.
That center quad. So they're in some pretty good company here, Mike.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm liking this view of our city here.
Cool.
Isn't that neat? And that little thin sliver of light right along the horizon. You know, obviously we're blanketed in fog once again, but, you know, maybe we can punch through a few holes in that fog layer later on. Dense fog advisory, all of us, till 10. It'll last probably longest far north and near the lake, just like it did yesterday. Visibility numbers, bad. Quarter mile or less in a lot of spots. Look at O'Hare, still an eighth of a mile visibility. That's very bad. About the same at Gary. Not quite as bad at Valparaiso. You get around Morris Coal City, you're doing a little bit better there with 2.5 miles of visibility. Showers and thunderstorms, they're on the way. They're coming at us from the southwest, and you can kind of tell from the trajectory here who would be more favored to get that. Areas northwest of the city, at least initially, but anywhere in Chicagoland today and tonight and tomorrow early morning, we need to be weather ready. Some of these storms could be rather strong. I think we'll hit 68, just shy of the record high for today, which is 70, set most recently in 2000. But some of us, especially south, will get into the mid-70s today, feeling really spring-like. 58 tonight, scattered showers and thunderstorms ending early tomorrow morning. Then the rest of the weekend, pretty nice around here. Sunday looks like a winter with sunshine and 60, but you lose an hour of Sunday because we go to daylight saving time. A gorgeous Monday, and then some rain and a cool down Tuesday and Wednesday. There's another look at our beautiful city here. Foggy, foggy day. All right, whatever. We'll be right back after this.